What was your level of frustration watching the game on Sunday in Detroit?
Not that much. I mean, not as much as week one, because I didn't expect. I said on PTI Friday, I thought the Bears would lose by a bigger margin to Detroit than Northwestern would to Oregon. Said it on the air. So there was no going back on it. I didn't say it for any effect because of any agenda. I thought the Bears were going to get smeared in Detroit on Sunday, and they did.
Is how they've lost the first two games, Mike, even more painful than being 0-2?
Yes, because the offensive line has not been any better, much better, if any better. There's no running game, and the defense is hot garbage. Yeah. Those things. I mean, people can sort of be lazy and start the Caleb conversation, and he hasn't been great. He's had some moments where he's looked like, okay, this new stuff is taking, and then there's a reversion. Yeah, that's true. But when you can't run the ball, you can't rush the passer, and you can't protect the quarterback, you got bigger problems.
Yeah,
and they got all those problems still. And I think that all of it will get better. You guys know, because we've texted privately, I thought the Bears are going to go 0-5, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen.
0-5, oh boy. It's funny about the Caleb conversation that you mentioned, because everything starts and ends with Caleb and his development, but we have been like you, and I think where you're coming at with this one, this game was, we thought he played better. We thought he was low on the list of the problems that the Bears had in Detroit. Yeah. So, to us, anyone who's, out there yelling this week about Caleb Williams in Detroit, I don't think really watched the game closely.
Well, I don't know what he had to...
They can watch it closely. They don't know anything about the game. That this is what they can do. They play fantasy football. They bet on some stupid app. And the depth of their understanding is what the quarterback does. You can't run the ball. You can't rush the passer. You can't protect the passer. You got big problems. Now, are those things in place to get better? Probably. But you guys know when you said, what do I expect from them this year? I want them to get better. I didn't have any expectations of playoffs and all that. I just didn't. It takes a long time. It's going to take a while. And Tuesday and Sunday in Detroit was evidence of how it's going to take a while and why it's going to take a while.
Mike, let's say that some of the stuff that leads you to believe it's going to take a bit of time takes longer than you even think. Like they've spent these draft picks and they've spent all of this currency, financial currency and draft currency, on trying to upgrade the offensive line. You signed 3 new guys, signed 3 new guys. Defensive line, you signed guys. You've given money to guys. You've got a ton invested on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
If there is not significant improvement by the end of the 2025 season, then all that you've invested has gone for naught. What do you do then?
Not necessarily. I mean, you may need to stay the course. I mean, maybe you've got to, know this better than Sylvie and me. You practice and get better, damn it.
But if you're picking the wrong people and paying the wrong people.
Well, here's what I worry about. If you're a prized rookie tight end and wide receiver who everybody's raved about, if they haven't, been targeted more than once each, and you look around the league and there are offensive linemen you could have taken, and Nick Chubb, who you could have signed Nick Chubb, and you didn't. And the running game is nothing. It is non-existent because you've got Swift, and it's not fair. He's not an every down back. He's not that guy. So that's a mistake, and you can see that mistake after 2 weeks. They should have gone out there and gotten Nick Chubb and put him in the backfield, with Swift, and maybe you'd have something. You could have 2 guys you could depend on. Because when I was looking at Chubb make that run, the other day, I guess it was Sunday, and I'm like, okay,
last night.
I understand his injuries. That was last night, yeah. His injuries have kept him from being all that he could be largely, but there's still some there.
But if you know that, why don't they?
Offensive linemen in the league and running backs in the league that we could have had and don't have.
Yeah, but listen, I have full respect for your football knowledge, but my question is if you knew that and we know that, how did they not know that?
Listen.
So how could you say the course, too?
Right. That's where the impatience comes.
You may have to. We've seen Very few teams do that now because of the pressure to win today. And just what you guys said, you start to assess the capital you've expended and what now, and there's panic. But, yeah, I look at those. I look at the Ohio State offensive lineman that could have been had.
It went to Kansas City
because he had an ankle injury. There's that. I mean, there's some spots where you go, we didn't need the luxury of another tight end because we don't even know how to use Cole Kmet. We didn't need the luxury of a tight end or another wide receiver when we had these needs. And pass rush clearly is one of those needs because we're not. When you stand back there and when you let that quarterback of the Lions stand back there and pat the ball, birth the baby, and he's going to find somebody. With absolute certainty he's going to find somebody 15 yards down the field, and you can't do anything about it.
And, Mike, this is when I talk about the investment. You spent a second-round pick on Javon Dexter. You gave Adayo Adangbo $30 million guaranteed. You gave Grady Jarrett $29 million guaranteed. You traded a second-round pick and gave Montez Sweat $100 million at $25 million a year. That is pushing your chips into the line of scrimmage on the defensive side, and you're getting no return on your investment, albeit after 2 weeks.
Not through 2 games. Small sample size, but not through 2 games. Believe me, I was being a jerk when I said yesterday paging Ron Rivera. But
wait a minute. What did you say? What did you do?
I said paging Ron Rivera is what I said.
As the head coach,
No, as the defensive coordinator, because that's who I wanted. That's who I wanted as a defensive coordinator. I'm looking at this going, I don't see any there. Now, again, and the worst thing that happened in the 2 weeks, and we view it differently, even with the same final score from Detroit. We view it differently if you didn't let a rookie quarterback who otherwise has shown nothing. And you guys know what I demanded to happen in week 1. Make this kid look like the rookie quarterback he is, who hadn't taken a snap from center and was not that kind of quarterback at Michigan. Make him look like that. And they did for 3 quarters and couldn't close the deal.
Mike, I want to give you
in the meantime,
I want to give you
in the next 4 quarters, he hadn't done anything.
Yeah, I want to give you the shivers. I want to give you these 2 stats, and I want to get your response. In the last 5 quarters, this Bears defense has given up 680 yards and 73 points.
Oh, God. Jeez.
73 points.
Well, paging Buddy Ryan.
That's going to be a harder one to make happen than
that's going to be a harder one
Ron.
to come about. And Ron might be on the golf course. I could go out and get him, literally.
Exactly.
He might be a few miles from me if I can go out. It's both discouraging. It's discouraging, but I'm going to stick with my own. Okay. I'm going to stick with my own instincts here. I said to you guys, I see an 0-5 coming, and I see an 0-5 coming.
Boy, that's hard. That's hard for me to process, considering all that they've invested, like 0-5, especially in 2025.
After they've lost 12 out of 13, and then now you
attach 3 more games. I need to know what happens in the next 5. I want to see the improvement.
Yeah.
I've covered teams that had this happen. I mean, I'm old. I've seen enough to not go crazy and to understand that people can get better if they are well coached and the coaches see a vision and stick with it and ignore here's my least favorite phrase in the world of sports, outside noise. I've seen it. I covered it. I know what it looks like. I'm discouraged, but I'm not yet ready to decide what's going to happen. Because a lot of people told me that the Vikings' young quarterback was going to go out and be undefeated after 6 or 7 games. Not exactly.
By the
who
way,
are those people?
I think about you all the time when I see the Joe Gibbs commercial that is now
Oh, he's at Menards?
Yeah. Is that where he's at?
Yeah, he's at Menards.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah. Joe Gibbs being reworked into some commercials.
Good. Because,
looks good, too.
Joe Gibbs might be an unfair example. Because not only did Joe Gibbs go 0-5 and didn't win 3 Super Bowls and appear in 4, but he also then went to another sport and dominated that.
Yeah.
So we're talking about one of the great captains of any sport ever in American history with Joe Gibbs.
I hate
But
to.
Bill Walsh did it. Bill Walsh did it. Went 0-7. Went 0-7. 0-7.
You're talking
And
about
then-
two of the greatest of all time. I think, can we all agree that more times than not, 0-5 leads to more 0 and something? It's only when the great ones actually have their hands on it.
But what my point is, how do we know he's not one of the great ones? That
Could
was
be.
forecast for him, too.
Yeah, I like
For Ben
I like
Johnson,
it.
yeah.
I like it a lot.
I want to ask you about the Tom Brady conversation. So Brady is doing, and this is like, it comes in locally here too, to everything that the NFL is talking about, because Brady is doing the Bears-Cowboys game this weekend, and then the Bears play his Raiders the following week in Vegas.
Yeah.
So he was in the coach's booth yesterday. How do you feel when you saw that? And
I don't care about that.
You don't
That's
care.
A waste of time. It's a waste. It's a waste. It's not what happens there. That doesn't mean jack. It's what, if anything, Brady does during the week conversations. As a Brady, don't we know that he is, to some degree, whatever degree that is, mentored young Caleb? So if that's the case, and he's inside his head, and he wanted to deliver that to the Raiders, that's of consequence, not the stupid thing in the booth where he looks like Sean Connery in Goldfinger in 1964. That doesn't matter. Everybody's concentrating on the wrong thing.
But
the thing is whether he takes what he knows to the Raiders.
Sure. And like the thing about him being in the booth, it just made it more apparent that he's not just some silent minority owner who's not involved. He's literally there with the coaches sitting in the booth, knowing how invested he is while doing an unbiased job as the top analyst for Fox.
Well, we ain't buying unbiased. The word, unbiased is the most flawed notion in the history of media. So even for people who've studied it and try to adhere to it, and he ain't one of them. So I'm not buying any of that. Look, it's a bad look. The optics are bad. It gives the appearance of something naughty. It gives the appearance of something that you shouldn't want if you're a league and you care about integrity and you throw that word around all the time like the NFL does.
And it's not like Brady has ever cheated before, so we should totally trust him.
That too, Silvy. That too. So, God, Chris Canty he killed Brady today when he said, when you look at Brady's history, he said, I figure he is cheating. Now, Canty went on to say he didn't care. And I sort of liked that take, that this was much ado about nothing. And you can make that case. My first instincts last night were, people are going to make more of this than it should be. But our friend Jeff Saturday, when I listened to Saturday this morning, and Marcus Spears, they were like, no. This is the appearance of something that is wrong. It represents something that you don't want your league to be projecting. And I'm not about to disagree with them. As a matter of fact, those two gentlemen completely persuaded me to feel differently about this. So, and by the way, I mean, Brady's doing the game this week. I'm going to be there in the house for Bears Cowboys this week. And I'm interested. And, I don't know Tom Brady. I don't know Tom Brady.
Have you met him?
Regardless, yeah. But I don't know him, and he wouldn't know me from Adam.
Sure, he knows you. Everyone knows you.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
I do.
So I never had any interactions with Tom Brady that are personal. But I would just say, if you put everybody in a room and gave him truth serum, would Brady take what he knows from Caleb Williams and give it away? Man, if it's a team you own, you owe that team more than you owe.
Of course he would.
Caleb Williams during mentorship.
Yeah.
And then, but you have to know, if you're an opposing player or coach, who you're dealing with, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think Brady's done anything wrong. I think the league has done something wrong. Clean this thing up.
Yes.
Because this is not, and by the way, people want to make it equivalent to, Tony asked me this on the air, if going into commercial, maybe he didn't make it. Is this different for our friend Grant Hill? Yeah. Because strategy doesn't mean a damn thing in basketball. It means everything in football.
And by the way,
and what you can give away in football is so much greater to be measured.
Yeah, for sure. So, don't give us this BS about that Tom Brady doesn't know who you are. Like, we were with you at
I don't know that.
We were with you at the Super Bowl in South Beach, and you sat with us, the peasants.
Okay.
And the Kansas City Chiefs were in a line. They were in a line, like, greeting the groom and the bride after a wedding when they saw Michael Wilbon sitting at our table. Chris Jones. Patrick
They came up to
Mahomes.
kiss the ring. They came up to kiss the ring.
No. None of them except Chris Jones was famous. 15 wasn't there. He may not know me either.
Sure.
And I don't know Tom Brady's a bridge too far. I don't know that.
You know what?
I'm not,
on the topic of the NFL needs to promote transparency and legitimacy and all that stuff. Once you welcome in the hundreds of millions of dollars that online gambling and regular gambling brings to the table, you have to. Like, you can't take all of that money in advertisement and sponsorship and then not promote your game in the manner in which it needs to be promoted. That's why, like, everything needs to be transparent, from the officiating
Tommy,
to even this.
Tommy, you are so right. But you are so right. But yet, what do they do? What does the league do? It doesn't.
Well, they bully everybody.
Take your suggestion.
Yeah.
Your
they bully everybody.
On the money.
Yeah.
Right. So I just say amen to every word you just said, knowing that they don't really have to care about that. I mean, knowing it. And even if they say it out loud and believing in it, but also not taking on these partners that deliver billions of dollars, those are two different things.
Boy, they are as Teflon as any entity as there is, especially in our world.
Yes, in the world.
But they just say, I mean, Roger Goodell, I don't know him. He's wonderful. He is a meat shield for the owners, and whenever the temperature gets hot, they throw Roger out there like he's the tiles on the space shuttle as it's re-entering the atmosphere. Like, it's starting to get hot. Throw Roger out there.
That. Because he takes their money to do that.
Yes,
that's his job.
I know. I get it. Like, I'm not. He makes $65 million to be that guy, but it's just, it's like they know that there are going to be some legitimate complaints, and they're just like,
right,
okay.
And then they put those fraudulent statements out. You know what it's like. Speaking of gambling, it's like there'll be several gambling app commercials on, and then you get the disclaimer: if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800
gambler.
Right. I mean, really? Yeah. I mean, seriously? Yeah. And so I don't. Do I think the league is going to do anything about it? No. Do I think that this was anticipated when Fox signed Tom Brady to $37 million a year? Yeah. And it's okay. And again, let me make clear, I don't think Brady's doing anything wrong. He's operating within the rules.
Well, he's taking advantage of what he's allowed to do.
Right. I'm not directing any of this at Brady. I'm directing the entirety of it at the league.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Cubs? Do you think they're going to peak at the right time?
I am so fired up about tonight. Wow. I am so excited about Skeens versus Young Cade. I am excited. Listen, I never do this. I never even subscribe to what I'm about to say. But, by the way, what is the Cubs' magic number, like 4?
I want to say 3 for the postseason.
3. Okay, so tonight if they, depending on what, the Padres do. I told you guys early in the year, we can go back and get the clip. You can make me look good. I don't believe they're going to win the division. I believed Milwaukee was going to do that. I told you that months ago. I don't even really want them to win the division. I want them to keep playing. I think there's something good about that. I'm sure Craig Counsell might disagree with me. I ran into Craig Counsell in Chicago on Saturday and was able to say hello to him.
He knew who you were.
Well, what kind of a guy is Craig Counsell?
Maybe. I don't know. We didn't chat. We just hello, shook hands, smile. We were each going to dinner, and that was that. But I love what he's done as opposed to you, Silvy.
Yeah.
I love what Craig Counsell has done. I love the way he handles 99% of it. I do. And you and I disagreed like in a text about this weeks and weeks ago. I love what Counsell does. I love that this team gives you everything they've got. They're smart. They're resourceful. I love the things they do. field, they catch the ball, they run the bases, fundamental baseball things that a manager and his staff can impact and affect. I love all that. They pitch. They give you everything they've got every night. That's it. That's it. I don't have any more to ask than that. I mean, could they use another bopper in the lineup? Okay, yeah, they could. So can everybody except the Phillies and Dodgers. But I love this team and what they've done this year. Do I get a little frustrated when PCA slams his helmet and bat now after every – maybe
All
that
the time.
home run will prevent him from slamming something for a week. I don't know because I still love him. I love him. I do. I love the kid. So I like what they're doing. I will take the 3 games against the Padres at Wrigley. I will take that in the first round.
All right, really quick, 30 seconds here. Would you start Cade Horton game 1 of the wild card round?
No. I believe I've learned from people like Earl Weaver and Joe Madden. I've learned from older, experienced managers. No, you put somebody out there who's ready emotionally, psychologically, temperamentally for that challenge. You run your all-star out there in game 1, Matthew Boyd, and you can come back with Cade maybe game 3. I wouldn't even put him out there in game 2. Don't put people in positions that they don't need to be in just yet. Don't get frantic.
Just remember this, though, Michael.
Don't run the starter out there in the 9th inning and ask him to close.
This is what Jesse.
Don't do that.
This is what Jesse has been saying. If you try to quote save Cade Horton for Game 3, there may not be a Game 3.
It's not saving. I didn't use the word saving. So tell Jesse that, damn it.
And then
I said
you said
you trot your all-star out there in game 1 is what I said. Know you can't misquote me.
He's the best pitcher they have right now, Cade Horton. All right, we'll continue this next week.
In the circumstance, I'm putting Matthew Boyd out there first, and you tell Jesse I said that.
I will. All right, Michael, we'll talk.
All right.
We're going to try and
Love
find
you guys.
Tom Brady on Sunday.
Mike.
And come
Yes.
see us.
Hey, I'll call you guys about where you're going to be this weekend because I'm coming in tomorrow.
I don't believe it because you've told us that many times, and then we're just sitting by the phone waiting for your call.
I'm coming in to stalk Tom Brady this weekend, so I got to show up.
Yes, at least you're honest.
There you go.
Thanks, Mike.
There's Michael Wilbon.